Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be transforming denim scraps that we have laying around from other projects and making a skirt and also a top. We'll be utilizing all the complete waistbands to make the skirt and then the leftover material from that to make the top. Now your project might vary based on your denim scraps, but this is a good way to clean up your scrap pile. And if you are new to sewing, you should have no problem following the easy step-by-step tutorial. With all that being said, let's get started. Getting started with supplies, you want to grab as many scraps or leftover material as possible. And your project may vary based on the scraps you have to work with, but no worries, you don't have to use scraps to make this project. You can use thrifted items or just anything you have laying around. And I still have a lot of intact waistbands here, so I'm going to utilize those to make the skirt, and then I'm going to use the rest of the material to make the top. But anyways, moving into assembly, the first thing I'm going to do is figure out the topmost waistband, and then I'm going to start to prepare that. And what I mean by preparing it is that I'm actually going to turn this one into a skirt. It's super easy to do. All you have to do is measure down about 2 to 4 inches from the center seam on the inseam, and cut off the remaining pant legs or neaten them up if you have any. And these pant legs are perfect material to make the top, so we're going to place these off to the side for future steps. Moving back to the top section of the pants, we're going to continue on by dethreading the remaining portion of the inseam. And remember, we're trying to keep that seam intact as possible. Now we're going to move up to the center seam and dethread to the bottom of the fly. What we're doing is dethreading high enough so that when we overlap these two sides, that front panel sits perfectly flat. This may vary based on the pants you're using, but I found that dethreading to the bottom of the fly works with most pants. Now we're going to flip it over to the back side and do the same thing, but for this side, we're only going to dethread to the center of the back pockets. After dethreading, overlap the two sides and make sure that back panel sits perfectly flat. Now with the back, it's a little bit different. If it's not sitting perfectly flat, you can dethread a little bit higher. We're mainly trying to dethread past that curve to the flat area, so that way the curve is gone and it sits flat. Once you have the two sides overlapping and it's sitting perfectly flat, we're actually going to utilize the old seam. What we're going to do is place our stitch directly in the old factory stitch path. So I'm going to place 2 along the back, flip it over to the front, and do the same thing. The bottom portion of the front doesn't have a seam, so I'm actually going to roll that under to get a clean edge. Then I'm going to place 2 stitches in the top portion on the factory stitch, and then 1 in the bottom. And I found matching your thread color to what's on the pants really blends everything together and makes it look factory made. And that's all it really takes to turn a pair of pants into a skirt, so if you just want to have a skirt, you can be done at this point. But what we're going to do next is clean up that bottom edge, and I'm just going to cut it flush with the existing curve. Typically at this point, we would start making adjustments to the height, but we're actually going to wait to do that until we have the other pieces ready to go. We don't want to accidentally cut it too short, so for the moment, we're going to place it off to the side. And then I'm going to grab my 2 remaining top sections. So what we're going to do with these top sections is actually stack them together to make a longer skirt. So what you want to do is actually put them together as if you're going to make it, just to get an idea of what it's going to look like and how big you want the strips to be. I'm going to make mine a little bit shorter, pretty much just going to the bottom of the front pockets. But this is totally customizable because no matter how tall you make it, the steps are still going to be the same. So after figuring out the height of each waistband addition, we're going to lay them out flat and then trim off the bottom section. And the safest bet is to cut them a little bit taller because you can always trim it down in later steps. The leftover material at the bottom we can place off to the side for future steps. Now we have our complete midsection and bottom section, and you can still make adjustments by trimming the bottom edge if you need to change the height. Once you're happy with the height, we're going to grab the top section and start stacking the waistbands. And I'm placing the waistband just below the front pockets for each section. I'm also stacking out, so each new section is going to be on the outside of the skirt. And this is a part where you can kind of play around with it. You can move the sections around and just see what looks best to you. And I'll be sewing each section at the top of the waistband, and also when it comes to the pocket area, you can move that pocket out of the way so you don't stitch through it. But if you place your waistbands lower, then you don't have to worry about stitching over the pocket. And to avoid sewing through all the layers on the last waistband, all you have to do is just sew through the previous section. As you can see, my main skirt drops all the way down to the bottom, but I'm actually not going to be sewing through that on this bottom section. And you can continue this for each section on down. The last thing you want to watch out for is sewing over the back pockets. Now you can totally sew over them if you want, or you can jump those if you still want functioning pockets on the back. But other than that, you're ready to sew, so place a ton of pins and then stitch along the top edge of each waistband. You definitely want to take your time and make sure you don't sew over any of the rivets on the pants. And after finishing up, your new skirt is complete. Now there's a few things you can still do. You can hem the bottom edge if you would like, or you can leave it as is for a distressed look. And I just stacked 3 waistbands, but if you want to stack more, you're essentially going to just keep doing the same steps over and over. But that is going to complete the skirt section, so for the moment, we can place it off to the side. And grab the largest scrap material you have sitting around. For me, it was the pant leg. To turn this into a bigger piece of fabric, I'm going to locate the inseam and cut directly next to it. Now we're going to lay it out flat with right sides facing up. And this alone is going to give us enough material to create the main panel for the top. The first thing I'm going to do is go to the widest section of the panel and cut 2 8-inch strips. Now if you don't have one clean strip like this, you can piece together multiple scraps in 2 8-inch tall strips. Now the length is going to vary. You're going to want to make it a little bit longer because you want it to fit around your body. The bottom section we can place off to the side for future projects. Now I'm going to take these 2 strips to the dress form to show you how I'm going to lay it out. I'm going to line it up with the center seam on the front and back, and then I'm going to take the extra material along the princess seam and fold it towards the side seam. This will make it more form fit. Then I'm going to take that material along the front edge and roll it over twice. And your fold may vary based on how long your strip is. From here, I'm going to do the exact same thing on the opposite side of the dress form. And we're trying to mirror the seam and the fold on the opposite side as best as possible. I will say having a dress form for this step really does help, but you can still make it without the form. So what's going to happen is that we're going to sew those folds down, we're going to hem the front, that will become open, and we're going to connect it in the back. But before we do that, I want to quickly show you how it looks just laying flat so you have another visualization. I also like to stack them on top of one another just to see if the folds are lining up and they're the same width. If everything is looking good, we're going to sew each fold, the 2 hems up front, and then we're going to place the right sides together and just sew the back at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. For the 2 hems, I'm sewing about a 1/4 inch away from the edge. For the folds, I'm sewing as close as possible to the edge. And I'm also adding a top stitch after sewing the 2 panels together. Now we have the full main section put together so you can try it on just to see how it fits, to see if you need to make any adjustments. If everything is looking good, for this next step, we're actually going to hem the top edge. Now this step is optional. If you want a distressed look on that top edge, you don't need to hem it. But what I'm going to do is roll that edge over a 1/2 inch and stitch it down. But before I actually stitch it down, I'm going to serge that top edge to clean it up. If you don't have a serger, you can use a zigzag stitch instead. Or you can roll the edge over twice to get a nice clean edge. But as you can see, that serge really cleaned up the edge. It's going to prevent fraying and it gives it a nice professional finish. Now I'm going to grab one of the bottoms I cut off in previous steps. It's a complete loop, so I'm going to actually utilize that to my advantage. And what I'm going to do is actually use this to make a band at the bottom. So I'm going to fold the main panel in half as if it was in a loop and line it up with the bottom section. As you can see, the bottom is a lot wider, but that's totally fine. We're going to be trimming it down in later steps. The first thing we want to focus on is how tall we want to make the band. Based on what I have to work with, I'm cutting mine as tall as possible and I'm cutting right below the fly. Now that we have the band cut, we can move on to the next step, and that's going to be matching the circumference of the top. I like to flip the wrong sides out for the band, line it up with the top, and then mark the sides where it meets. Once you have the correct markings, double check it by measuring it, take it to your sewing machine, and stitch each side. And I'm using a serger to get a nice clean edge. If done correctly, both the top and the bottom should line up. Now the top isn't fully a loop, so I'm going to actually pin it together at the bottom to create the full loop. This makes it a little bit easier to attach the band. So take the band, flip the wrong sides out, and line it up with the bottom edge of the top. And remember, we're placing the wrong sides together. If for some reason your band is a little bit big, you can always take it in or adjust the top section. But once you have it lined up, place a few pins, take it to your sewing machine, and stitch the bottom edge at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Again, I use a serger to get a nice clean edge. From here, we can flip the right sides out and start to clean it up. I'm going to add a top stitch along the new seam. This is going to give a little bit of separation between the top and band panel. And you can either fold that seam allowance up or down. I'm actually going to be folding mine up and adding my top stitch on the flower fabric side. And within this step, I'm actually going to be adding one more stitch, and that's going to be hemming the bottom edge. And I'll be doing it the same way we did for the top edge. I'm going to serge it first, roll it over, and stitch it down. Again, this is optional. If you want that distressed look along the bottom edge, then you don't need to hem it. I just figured since I already placed a hem on the top edge, I might as well add one to the bottom. And after finishing up, that's going to complete the sewing steps for this project. The last thing we have to do is add the hardware. And this will be the eyelets along the front section so we can feed cord through it to hold that front together. I'll be using 6mm eyelets, but feel free to switch it up and use whatever size that works best with your design. The first thing I like to do is lay them out just to get an idea of the spacing and how many I want to add. For this specific height, 4 works fairly good, so I'm going to mark each one of those with a pen. After marking, I'm going to punch each opening. If you don't have a punch, you can use scissors instead. Then I'm going to place the eyelet through the opening from the right side, add the backing on the wrong side, and to secure it down, I'll be using a hammer die. Feel free to use pliers or a press. The hammer die is super easy to use. All you have to do is place the base on the right side and hammer it down from the back. And you don't need a ton of force or else you're going to bend the eyelet. Now that you have one installed, go ahead and repeat the process for the rest of the eyelets. To finish off the project, we'll be adding cord. I'm just using standard paracord. You can get it in a bunch of different colors, and you should be able to find some that matches your fabric. When it comes to lacing, I just started at the bottom and laced it exactly like a shoe, going back and forth. To seal off the ends, I'll be using cord caps. They're super easy to install. All you have to do is slide it on the cord, tie a knot, and then pull it over the knot. And it should be a pretty tight fit because you want that cord cap to hold that knot in place. And there's a lot of different ways you can lace this. You can start at the top, you can use a different configuration, or even changing up the style of drawstring plays a lot in the overall design. But moving into the final step, that's adding your branding. I use leather strips added with double-sided rivets, but there's tons of options when it comes to upcycled garments. You can screen print, embroider, or use woven tags. All in all, I really do recommend throwing your brand on there because it really finalizes the design. And depending on how much more scrap you have laying around, you can actually make more tops to swap out with the bottom, or you can use that scrap material to make cargo pockets for the skirt, or even for the top. There's just so many options when it comes to upcycling, so have some fun with it, get creative, and make a design that's really unique to your style. And there you have it, your new upcycled outfit is complete. And again, your project might vary based on how many waistbands you have left over or material in general. But when it comes to the top, that actually takes very little material to make, so if you have any scraps laying over, you can piece together these panels and make this style a top. When it comes to the skirt, you can actually stack as many waistbands as you want, so if you have 4 laying over, you can stack it to 4. It really just depends on the look you're going for and the materials you have to work with. But like always, I'd love to see what you come up with, so tag me on Instagram at ProperFitClothing, and until then, I'm going to keep the videos coming at you, so I'll see you next time.